Let me paint you a picture. You walk into the gym on a Monday, you are motivated, new week, new goals. You hit chest hard. Tuesday, back, Wednesday, legs, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you are still there. 6 days straight, maybe even thinking about adding a 7th because why not? And in your head, it makes perfect sense. More days is equal more work is equal more gains, and more gains is equal faster progress. Simple math, right? And if you are being honest, you didn't just come up with this idea randomly. You have been influenced. You scroll through social media and every other fitness influencer seems to be in the gym every single day. Some of them even twice a day. They are shredded, huge, disciplined, and it sends a very clear message. If you are not training 6 days a week, you are not serious. So you start pushing yourself into that routine. At first, it actually feels amazing. You feel productive, you feel disciplined, you feel like you are doing something most people are not willing to do. There is this quiet pride when you realize you have not missed a workout all week. While others are resting, you are grinding. And let's be real, there is something addictive about that feeling. You start identifying as that guy or that girl who never skips the gym. But then something weird starts happening. Your workouts don't feel the same anymore. The weights that felt manageable last week suddenly feel heavier. Your energy is not as high. You are dragging yourself through sessions instead of attacking them. You start needing more caffeine just to feel normal, and mentally it's not as fun anymore. You used to look forward to the gym. Now it feels like an obligation, like something you have to do, not something you want to do. But you ignore it because in your mind this is just part of the grind. This is what discipline looks like. You tell yourself no pain, no gain, and you keep going. Weeks pass, maybe months, and instead of seeing insane progress like you expected, things feel slow. Your strength is not skyrocketing. Your physique is not changing as fast as you thought it would. In fact, sometimes it feels like you have hit a wall, and that's confusing because you are doing everything right, aren't you? You are consistent, you are showing up, you are putting in the work. So why does it feel like your body is not keeping up? Why does it feel like you are working harder but getting less in return? And here is where things get even more interesting. You start comparing yourself to someone else. There is always that one guy in the gym. He trains 3 or 4 days a week, sometimes even less than you. He takes rest days. He does not look exhausted all the time, and yet he is stronger, he is bigger, he is progressing faster. And now your brain starts doing that thing. Am I doing something wrong? But you quickly shut that thought down because training less, that sounds lazy. Taking rest days, that sounds like an excuse. You have been conditioned to believe that more is always better. So instead of questioning the approach, you double down. You push harder, you add more volume, you shorten your rest periods, you try to outwork the problem. But deep down, there is a small voice in your head that's starting to whisper, what if more is not actually better? And that question, that tiny bit of doubt, is where everything begins. At the end of the day, it's not really about training 6 days a week. That's just the method. What you actually want is results. You want to build muscle, you want to get stronger, you want to look in the mirror and actually see the progress. You want your effort to mean something. Because let's be honest, going to the gym is not easy. You are waking up early or pushing yourself after a long day. You are dealing with soreness, fatigue, sometimes even injuries. You are sacrificing time that could have spent relaxing, hanging out, or doing literally anything else. So if you are putting in that kind of effort, you expect something in return, and not just anything. You want efficient results. You don't just want to work hard, you want to work smart. You want to know that every set, every rep, every workout is actually moving you forward, not just keeping you busy. Because there is a difference, a big one. Being busy in the gyms feel productive, but it does not always translate to progress. And somewhere deep down you know this. That's why you start asking questions. Is 6 days really necessary? Am I overtraining? Would I actually grow more if I trained less? And here is the real desire that most people don't say out loud. You want the maximum results with minimum wasted efforts. No shortcuts, no hacks, just efficiency. You don't want to spend 6 days in the gym if 4 days could give you better results. You don't want to destroy your body if there is a smarter way to build it. You don't want to burn out because burnout is real. At first, it's physical. You feel tired, sore, drained, but then it becomes mental. You start skipping workouts, you lose motivation, you feel guilty for not enjoying something you used to love, and that's dangerous because once the consistency breaks, everything else follows. So your goal is not just muscle, it's sustainability. You want a routine you can stick to for months, years, maybe even your whole life. You want to enjoy the process, not just survive it. And at some point, you realize something important. The people who get the best results are not always the ones who train the most. They are the ones who train the smartest. And that's when the question changes. It's no longer how many days can I train. It becomes how many days should I train. And that one shift in thinking is what separates random effort from intentional progress. So now you have the the desire. You don't just want to work hard, you want to work smart. You want results, you want efficiency and something sustainable. But here is the problem. Everything around you is telling you the exact opposite. You open social media and it's chaos. Everyone looks elite, everyone is shredded, everyone is training like an absolute maniac. 6 days a week, sometimes 7, double sessions, insane volume, drop sets, supersets, giant sets, stuff that looks intense enough to make you question your entire existence. And the message is subtle but powerful. If you are not doing this, you are not doing enough. And that messes with your head, because now it's not just about training anymore. It's about identity. You don't want to feel like the lazy one. You don't want to feel like you are cutting corners. You don't want to feel like you are falling behind. So even if your body is telling you to slow down, your ego is telling you to push harder. And that's the first major conflict. Your body versus your ego. Your body says, I'm tired, I need recovery, I need time to actually grow. Your ego says, we can't stop now. What if we lose progress? What if others get ahead? So most of us listen to our ego, and that's where things starts to break down. Because here is something most people don't fully understand. The gym does not build your body, it breaks your body. Every time you train, you are creating stress, you are damaging muscle fibers, you are draining your nervous system, you are literally digging a hole. Growth does not happen in the gym. Growth happens when you recover from that stress. But if you keep adding stress without giving your body enough time to recover, you are just digging a deeper hole, and eventually that hole becomes too deep to climb out of. This is where overtraining, or more accurately under recovery, starts creeping in. And it does not always show up in obvious ways. It's not like one day you just collapse on the gym floor and think, yes, I'm now overtrained. It's subtle. Your strength plateaus, your pumps are not the same, you feel tired even after a full night's sleep, your joints start aching more than usual, your motivation slowly drops, and the worst part, you don't immediately connect it to training too much. Instead, you think, maybe I need to train harder, maybe my program is not right, maybe I just need more discipline. So what do? You add more sets, more exercises, more days, which is exactly the opposite of what your body needs. It's like trying to fix a phone with low battery by using it even more. And here is another layer to this conflict that most people ignore. You are not a professional athlete, and that's not an insult. It's just reality. Professional bodybuilders, athletes, influencers, they don't just train. Their entire life is built around recovery. They have perfect nutrition, they sleep like it's their job, they manage stress better. Some of them are even enhanced, which completely changes how their body recovers and grows. So when you try to copy their 6-day training split, you are copying half the equation. You are copying the stress without matching the recovery, and that imbalance, that's where progress dies. But wait, it gets even trickier, because sometimes training 6 days a week can work, and that's what makes this whole thing confusing. You might see someone who genuinely thrives on high frequency. You might even try it yourself and see some initial progress, and now you are stuck thinking, see, it works, so I should keep going. But what you don't realize is this: just because something works in the short term does not mean it's optimal in the long term. Your body is incredibly adaptable. It can handle a lot for a while, but eventually fatigue accumulates, recovery debt builds up, and progress starts slowing down, even if you are doing more than ever. And now you are in a trap. You have built your entire routine around high frequency. You have attached your identity to it. You feel guilty taking rest days, and at the same time, you are not progressing the way you want, because now it feels like no matter what you do, something is off. And this is the real conflict. You are working harder than ever, but not getting the results you expected. And when effort does not match the outcome, that's where doubt creeps in. That's where people quit. Or worse, that's where they keep grinding the same broken approach for years, thinking the problem is them, not the strategy. But here is the turning point. At some point, either through frustration, curiosity, or just pure exhaustion, you start questioning the system itself. Not your effort, not your discipline, but the approach. And that question, what if I don't need to train this much? That's where everything begins to shift. Let's say one day you decide to experiment, not because you are lazy, not because you have given up, but because you are actually trying to be smarter. You take a step back. Instead of training 6 days a week, you drop it to 4. And I know that already feels uncomfortable. It almost feels wrong, like you are doing less than you should, like you are falling behind, like you are losing progress just by being out of the gym. The first rest day hits and you feel guilty. The second one, even worse. You are sitting there thinking, I could be training right now, but you stick with it and something interesting starts happening. Your workouts feel different. You walk into the gym with more energy, you are stronger, your focus is sharper, your pumps feel better. You are not going through the motions anymore. You are actually performing. And that's a big difference, because results don't come from how often you train. They come from how well you train. And when you are recovered, every set hits harder. Every rep is more controlled. Every workout has intent. You are no longer surviving your sessions, you are attacking them. And outside the gym, you feel better too. You are less exhausted, your mood improves, your motivation comes back, you start looking forward to training again, and that's when it clicks. Rest is not the enemy, it's part of the process. Actually, it's one of the most important parts. You start understanding that muscle growth is not about doing more, it's about doing enough, and then allowing your body to adapt. And suddenly your perspective shifts. Instead of asking how many days can I train, you start asking how much recovery do I need to grow. And once you see training and recovery as a team, not opposites, everything changes. So where does this leave you? You are no longer chasing the idea of more, you are chasing better. You understand that training 6 days a week is not automatically wrong, but it's not automatically right either. It depends on your recovery, your lifestyle, your sleep, your stress, your experience level. For some people, 6 days might work. For others, 3 or 4 days might be better. And that's the key. The best training frequency is one that allows you to recover, progress, and stay consistent. Not just for a week, not just for a month, but long term. Because at the end of the day, consistency beats intensity, and sustainability beats burnout. You don't win by doing the most work, you win by doing the right amount of work over a long period of time. If you are training 6 days a week and progressing, feeling good, recovering well, keep going. But if you are tired, plateaued, or burned out, maybe the answer is not to push harder. Maybe the answer is to step back so you can move forward, because sometimes doing less is exactly what you need to get more.